What's up, nerds? Welcome to a video by somebody who came up with the idea for this video 24 hours ago and now frantically has to record before time runs out today. Anyway, so today we're talking about two anime that I'm a little bit embarrassed by. And I'm not saying like, you really shouldn't be embarrassed by anime that you like. Like there should be no shame in that. However, these ones I'm embarrassed by because they're both problematic and not very great story or, well, one of them's very good animation-wise, so good animation-wise. So let's go to the first one. We're going to talk about the one that probably shocked me the most when I realized that it wasn't good because I kind of grew up with it. And that anime is D&A Angel. It's kind of not really in the public eye anymore. I know a lot of fans, probably like older otaku, have fond memories of D&A Angel, but then you sit down and watch it a good decade later and you're like, what was I thinking? This is kind of both not good and it's kind of problematic. Music slaps though. Music slaps. Voice acting in English, phenomenal. I've gotten signatures from several of the voice actors. The voice acting is great. What's not so great is the story, and I'm gonna go into a little bit of not nice things, but there's a lot of both 14-year-olds pining after 20 or 18, 19-year-olds, and also the other way around. The very first episode has a not very comfortable kiss. And I mean, when I was 14 watching it, I was like, oh my gosh, he's so awesome. But now that I'm in my late 20s, I'm like, that's uncomfortable. Can you back away from the underage girl, please? And watching it as an adult, it's just so strange. And there's a lot of things in the series that don't actually make a ton of sense. Okay, so let's backtrack a little bit and I'll tell you what D&A Angel is about. So that's a good question. D&A Angel basically is about this family of art thieves, and they pass around this kind of curse, the curse of Phantom Dark. And Dark is my favorite character and also somewhat the most problematic one. So they pass around this curse. Each male in the family eventually will turn into the Phantom Thief Dark and steal famous artifacts that actually house bad spirits. So they're stealing art, but they're stealing it basically for a good cause, to make sure that these super powerful artifacts don't fall into the wrong hands. And so they just kind of collect them and they deactivate them. It's actually really interesting. What's not great, honestly, is just the execution of it. The main character, Daisuke, it's kind of sad for him. He doesn't have a lot of choice in the matter, and you can see how all of it's just like torturing him. Like he doesn't want to be an art thief, but his parents have basically raised him to do this. Like the first episode has him avoiding all these crazy traps. I'm like, you're 14, you should be reading comic books. What are you doing? And it's all a little bit uncomfortable after a while. Basically, his mother had him in order for him to be Phantom Thief Dark. It's uncomfortable. A lot of the series overall is just uncomfortable, and like I own the whole thing on DVD, and I sat my best friend down to watch it once, and he was like, are you sure this is good? And I'm like, I swear it is, it gets better. But then I watched on by myself, and honestly, it doesn't get better. And there are so many questions left open-ended. I mean, this is a series from, I don't know, I'll insert the year somewhere on the screen, but it's never been finished. The last episode doesn't answer any of the questions that are raised. And it's all just not very good. It's not very good. It's problematic. The animation does not hold up. It's very early 2000s. It's so early 2000s. Music's still awesome. Voice acting still awesome. But honestly, if some of your older otaku friends have been telling you to watch it, take that with a grain of salt, because we're all pretty much just going off of older feelings and nostalgia, and it's honestly not that good. So the second anime I want to talk about is one that I kind of realized pretty early on wasn't a great series to watch, especially at the time I was watching it. I watched a lot of these when I was 14, 15 years old. We're going to talk about Vampire Knight. And I have fond memories of Vampire Knight. I remember reading the manga, and when I found out an anime was being released, I was so excited that I went all over the internet, tracked down the non-subtitled versions of the episodes, and watched them, even though I don't speak Japanese. I don't really understand that much Japanese, but I'd read the manga so much I knew what was going on anyway. So Vampire Knight is not good, guys. It's problematic. So problematic. Let's go into what this one is about. Obviously, vampires. Back then, I was super into vampires. I mean, I showed you guys a glimpse of my Twilight collection, so you understand. So what Vampire Knight is about this academy run by this kind of former vampire hunter. Don't know if that's a spoiler or not. And it houses both humans and vampires, the day class, the humans, and then the night class, the vampires. Yeah, magical academies have been a thing for a while, guys. So this has never been anything new. There's this girl who was attacked by a vampire, like about to be attacked by a vampire, and she was saved by another vampire. Because there's kind of like this hierarchy thing. It's all very political. Like you have the very, very tip top of the hierarchy. You have the pure-blooded vampires. They're basically vampire royalty. No human blood in their DNA at all. It's great. They really flaunt that, and they're super, super powerful. And then you have like aristocrats, and then you have like regular just vampires, and then you have the vampires that have been changed into vampires from human, and those are the ones that are like, no, never do this. And the only ones who can turn humans into vampires are purebloods, and that's like super, super taboo. Like you're not supposed to do that. But Yuki, the main character, she was attacked by what they call a level E vampire, and she was saved by one of the purebloods, Kaname Koron, and he's just an absolute dream, but he's also super, super problematic. And I can't tell you why he's problematic because it is a major spoiler, but I'm telling you that his relationship with Yuki is weird. It's really, really weird. And I can't tell you why it's weird, but you can probably figure out why the relationship is a little bit not cool. So she was rescued by him, and then she was sent to live with the headmaster of the academy. And so she's just going to school, and the headmaster adopts another kid who was also attacked by a vampire, and his family was killed, and he hates vampires. Yuki is like grateful to Kaname, and she's like, yes, I mean, I'm afraid of vampires, but still love Kaname, so it's fine. But Zero, the other boy, he hates them, doesn't want to be anywhere near them, which you kind of get because vampires, you know, attack people and drink their blood and all that stuff. So they both grow up. Zero is now brooding, silver hair, gorgeous nightmare. Yuki is super, super naive and still pining after Kaname. And so it's basically, the whole anime is kind of like about this struggle between the vampire hunters and the vampires, and the humans get caught in between, and this whole political struggle with the purebloods, and it's all very complicated. Okay, this is not a kind of not safe for work anime. It really, really isn't. You can watch this at work, who cares? But there's a lot of non-consensual blood drinking that is very uncomfortable to watch. I kind of have to relate it to another anime that I watched later on, and I was like, this is not okay. Diabolic Lovers, I think that's how you pronounce it. Where basically it's the entire series is the main character being attacked by vampires and then being basically friends with them for the rest of the time, even though they're still basically attacking her against her will. And it's all very uncomfortable and not fun to watch. And a lot of that happens a lot in Vampire Knight. Though what I can say about Vampire Knight is that the non-consensual blood drinking, we'll say, is not generally framed as like it's not like a sexy thing or anything. Occasionally it is. And I know for a fact that my little 14, 15-year-old mind took that as like a romantic thing, mostly because I recently read some of my fan fiction from during that time, and I put in something very similar to it, and reading it now, I'm just like, what was going on in my head? So yeah, that's not a very fun series to get through as an adult when you just know more about the world and know more about, well, consent. And what I can say about Vampire Knight is that, once again, music, fantastic. Both for season 1 and season 2, both the ending and opening themes, they are amazing. Just absolute gothic wonder. I love them. Background music is great too. Animation is pretty good. It's not like the best animation, but it's pretty good. Like it all looks pretty good. It's not like the best, but it's better. It's way better than DNA Angel, I can say that for sure. But honestly, with these two series, I'm just kind of embarrassed a little bit that I liked them for so long without really realizing like the implications of that. Like, it's okay if you like things that are problematic, quite frankly. I think so. As long as nobody's getting hurt and it's not like encouraging people to do bad things, I think it's fine. However, like, I really wish I hadn't like raved about these for so long, because it's just, like I said, it's a little bit embarrassing. I'll mention one more that I'm embarrassed about, like, very, very recently, and I didn't realize what was going on in the series because I watched it when I was younger. I'll relate it to another anime real quick, one that I haven't seen, but this is where it comes up. There's this anime called, it's something like, If It's For My Daughter, I'll Defeat Monsters. It's like about this guy who adopts like a monster child and raises her, and it's about that. And then I heard that at the end, he actually ends up marrying the daughter. And I'm like, okay, whoa, what's going on? And then somebody in the comments of one of the videos I was watching on it said that the anime goes full bunny drop, and I'm like, wait a second, bunny drop? But I like bunny drop. What happens at the end of bunny drop? Apparently it ends up the same way, and I didn't even realize it because I don't remember that happening in like at the end of the anime, because bunny drop is about this guy who his grandfather dies. I think his grandfather? I think it's his grandfather dies. And they find out that his grandfather actually had a child from a later on marriage. And then the girl is like 6 years old. And so they're trying to figure out who's going to raise this girl. And so the guy is like, okay, fine. Well, I guess I'll raise her. I'm a single man living in an apartment, and I don't know what I'm doing, but I guess I'll raise her. Nobody else wants to take her. And the anime is just about him raising him signing her up for school. It's all very, very cute. And then finding out that like at the end he marries her, like, no, that's not okay. That's very, very much not okay, especially since technically she's his aunt. I think that's actually the story. I'll put notes somewhere dictating if I'm wrong or right about this, but I think that's what happens because I haven't seen it in a long time. The only thing I really remember is like the basic premise and the ending theme that is one of my favorite feel-good songs, but now I just feel dirty listening to that song. Uh, so that's uncomfortable. So that's some anime that I'm a little bit embarrassed by. Honestly, I don't think that there's really any anime, well, except for one that I'm not going to mention, but I'm sure you guys know which one I'm talking about. It's the one that you don't tell people to watch, that people tell people to watch. But that I think that's the only anime that you should just be embarrassed that you saw, and embarrassed that anybody made it, and embarrassed that anybody voice acted for it, and embarrassed that anybody had to distribute it, and embarrassed that anybody had to upload it. And anyway, I don't think you should feel embarrassed. Like, I don't really believe fully in guilty pleasures. I don't think you should feel guilty about anything you like. Like, I don't feel guilty about the fact that I like Twilight still. Like, I know it's bad. So what? It's fun. I mean, if you're having fun and you're not hurting anybody and it's not encouraging anybody to hurt anybody or do bad things, I think it's fine, quite frankly. Also, if it's not illegal, don't do anything illegal, like, or watch anything illegal. That was a dog. Anyway, so we're gonna call it quits for the day. That was a very random video. Sorry, it's a little bit scattered. I am hard at work on my Halloween project for Instagram and Facebook. Links are in the description to both my Instagram and Facebook, and I'm going to post a video at the end of the month telling you guys about what I did. Please make sure to like this video if you liked it, and don't dislike it because I will covertly send you that anime that I don't want to mention. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and ring the bell so you're notified when I upload more manic videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye! I don't know if you've noticed my new recording space. This is what happens when you go into a manic depressive fit at 3 a.m. and all you want to do is rearrange your whole room, but you can't do that because you don't really have the energy to do that. So you just redo your recording space with this stupid broken bookshelf that I hate.